Imagine standing at the edge of a serene forest pond, its surface perfectly still, a mirror reflecting the sky. Then, suddenly, a stone slices through the air, crashing into the water. Ripples surge outward, disturbing the tranquility, but only for a moment. Soon, the water smooths again, regaining its peaceful clarity as if nothing ever happened. This pond is your mind, and this is the first secret the Buddha teaches us. Insults and offenses only have the power we choose to give them. Think about it. Every insult hurled your way, every careless word meant to wound, is like that stone thrown into your calm pond. The disturbance may feel sharp, but the true power lies not in the stone but in your reaction to it. Why do we let those ripples persist? Why do we hold on to anger as if it were a lifeline, when in truth it's a poison slowly killing our peace? The harsh truth, which Buddha confronts without mercy, is that holding anger is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. It's a self-inflicted torment, a chain that binds you tighter than any insult ever could. This is where the real battle lies, not outside in the words or actions of others, but deep within your own heart. The power to let go, to restore stillness, rests entirely in your hands. In the chaos of life, when the world throws stones at us, we often believe that retaliation or resentment is the only path to justice. But consider this. Giving your energy to bitterness is surrendering your freedom. It's handing over your peace as ransom to forces beyond your control. What if, instead, you could reclaim that power? What if you could meet each insult with a silent strength so profound that it dissolves the attack before it even touches your soul? This is not weakness, but the fierce courage of self-mastery. The courage to say, "You do not control me. I will not let your words define my calm." I've seen too many people trapped in this endless cycle, their minds like turbulent waters, never resting. But I've also witnessed the transformative power of practicing this principle. The way it reshapes lives quietly yet profoundly. Imagine waking each day unshaken, no longer a victim to the sharp tongues or careless deeds of others. Imagine living in a space where your mind, like that forest pond, returns to stillness no matter what stones are cast. This principle is a gift, not a simple rule but a radical call to inner freedom. To truly live it, you must confront your own impulses to cling to pain, to wear grievances like armor. You must recognize that peace is your birthright, and it can never be taken by another's cruelty unless you allow it. The path is neither easy nor quick, but it is the way to a life untouched by the storms outside. So, what does it mean to give power to an insult? It means feeding the flame of anger, replaying the hurt, and weaving it into the fabric of your identity. But what if you refused? What if you chose silence over outrage, calm over chaos? In that choice lies the seed of liberation. You become the master of your mind, the guardian of your peace. Insults become nothing more than fleeting ripples, unable to disturb the vast stillness beneath. This teaching is not just philosophy. It's a practical shield in a world that constantly challenges us. It invites you to build resilience so profound that no offense can fracture your spirit. Imagine the strength, the clarity, the freedom of living untouchable. That is the power Buddha offers through this principle. To remain unshaken, to be the still pond amidst the storm. And as you walk this path, remember, the stones thrown are not your burden to carry. Let them fall. Let your mind return to peace. That is the power no one can take from you, unless you give it away. Every person who crosses your path carries within them a lesson, a hidden message wrapped in the fabric of their being. It may arrive gently, in the form of kindness or wisdom that lights your way, or it may come harshly, through conflict, discomfort, or outright challenge. Yet, in every encounter, there lies a teacher, sometimes disguised as an adversary, sometimes as a friend. This is the raw, uncompromising truth that the Buddha reveals. Life itself is an endless classroom, and everyone you meet is a mentor guiding you deeper into self-awareness and resilience. It's a radical shift in perception. Instead of viewing people through the narrow lens of convenience or judgment, imagine embracing every interaction as an opportunity, whether it lifts you up or forces you to confront your shadows. The pain caused by a difficult person is not meaningless suffering. It is a call to awaken, to examine your reactions, your attachments, and your limits. When you see your critics, your challengers, as unwitting teachers, you transform negativity into fertile ground for growth. You no longer suffer passively but engage actively in the alchemy of turning hardship into wisdom. In my experience, this mindset is both liberating and demanding. It frees you from the shackles of victimhood because you cease to blame others for your suffering. Instead, you claim full responsibility for how you respond. But this is not a soft surrender. It is a fierce acceptance of life's complexity. To embrace every person as a teacher means to face discomfort without flinching, to listen deeply even when the message stings, and to extract the lesson buried beneath layers of ego and pain. There's a profound power in this practice, and it's not about being passive or tolerant to the point of self-neglect. It's about cultivating an unbreakable inner core that sees beyond surface irritations and judgments. It's about expanding your vision to understand that the disruptions others cause are reflections of your own inner work waiting to be done. When you meet anger with calm, ignorance with patience, or cruelty with compassion, you become a student of life's harshest lessons and a master of your own peace. This principle dismantles the illusion that peace depends on external conditions or the behavior of others. Instead, it anchors you in the truth that your mind is the soil where your experience grows. If you nurture understanding, every person becomes a mirror, a guide, a teacher pointing toward a higher self. This approach invites you to surrender your resistance and embrace the full spectrum of human experience, joy and sorrow, praise and criticism, love and conflict. There will be moments when the lessons are brutal, when encounters test the limits of your patience and kindness. But even in those moments, the choice remains yours, to resist and fracture, or to absorb, learn, and rise stronger. I've witnessed how those who take this path develop a resilience that is not brittle but fluid, like water bending around obstacles yet never losing its course. They learn to welcome the discomfort as an essential element of transformation rather than a threat to their peace. By reframing every person as a teacher, you disarm the power of negativity. You shift from reacting impulsively to responding consciously. The ripple of frustration or hurt no longer swells into a tidal wave that sweeps you away. Instead, you become the calm eye in the storm, grounded by the understanding that every encounter is a lesson in disguise. This is not just spiritual rhetoric, it is a call to live fiercely and openly, to embrace life's unpredictability with arms wide open. It demands courage to see the unseen lessons and humility to accept that learning never ends. But within this challenge lies a profound reward, the ability to remain unshaken, to find peace even when chaos surrounds you, and to grow continuously through the ever-unfolding curriculum of human connection. So, when you meet another soul, whether they bring light or shadow, remember they carry a message meant for your growth. Embrace them as teachers, and in doing so, transform your life into an endless journey of wisdom and freedom. Envy is a silent thief that creeps into the heart, stealing joy and poisoning the mind with bitterness. It disguises itself as a craving for what others have, yet it chains you to a prison of discontent, where nothing is ever enough. The Buddhist teaching confronts this harsh reality head-on. Envy is a shadow that dims your inner light, preventing you from embracing your own potential. But here lies the profound transformation. Envy need not be a destructive force. When you learn to shift your gaze from jealousy to admiration, you unlock a powerful alchemy that turns weakness into strength, darkness into clarity. Imagine standing beside someone whose success seems to shine brighter than your own. The natural, raw impulse might be to feel lesser, to stew in resentment or despair. Yet what if you dared to do the opposite? What if you saw their accomplishments not as a threat but as a beacon lighting a path forward? This is the radical act of turning envy into emulation. Instead of wasting energy on toxic comparisons that crush your spirit, you channel that energy into learning, absorbing what makes others thrive and adapting it into your own journey. This shift is not a denial of your feelings but a conscious choice to rise above them. From personal experience, I can attest that this transformation demands brutal honesty and relentless self-awareness. The moment envy surfaces, it is tempting to hide or suppress it, but the Buddha teaches us to confront our inner shadows without flinching. Acknowledge the envy, understand its roots, then redirect its current toward growth. It's like turning a turbulent river into a steady stream nourishing your ambitions. This process is neither quick nor painless. It challenges the ego's hunger for immediate validation and forces you to embrace humility. But the rewards are undeniable: peace, motivation, and a clearer focus on your path. The power of emulation lies not in imitation but in inspiration. You don't become a carbon copy of another's success. Rather, you extract the essence of what makes them shine: their discipline, mindset, creativity, and weave those threads into your unique tapestry. This creates a fertile ground where your authentic self can blossom. When envy transforms into genuine admiration, you cease to be a prisoner of comparison. Instead, you become a student of excellence, constantly learning, growing, and evolving without the crushing weight of insecurity. Moreover, this principle reveals a deeper truth about human connection and the nature of achievement. Success is not a finite resource to be hoarded but an abundant force that expands as it is shared. When you celebrate others' victories, you open the door for your own. The world is vast enough for countless dreams to coexist and flourish. Recognizing this breaks the chains of scarcity mindset that fuels envy, replacing it with a mindset of abundance and collaboration. This shift not only enriches your inner life but also deepens your relationships, making your journey less lonely and more vibrant. Yet, the struggle against envy is ongoing. There will be moments when the old patterns resurface, when comparisons bite like a sudden chill. In those moments, return to the core of this teaching. Envy is a symptom, not a destiny. It signals areas within yourself yearning for attention, growth, or healing. Meet it with compassion for yourself, not self-condemnation. Use it as a compass pointing toward where you need to nurture your talents and values. This self-compassion transforms envy from a prison into a catalyst, I have witnessed how this mindset reshapes lives, how people move from frustration to fulfillment, from bitterness to boundless curiosity. Embracing emulation over envy invites you into a dance with life's challenges that is both fierce and graceful. It calls you to own your journey without distraction, to sharpen your focus on your unique strengths while drawing wisdom from others. The path is demanding but exhilarating, marked by moments of doubt and breakthroughs alike. In the end, turning envy into emulation is more than a strategy. It is a profound act of liberation. It frees you from the chains of comparison and anchors you in the fertile soil of self-respect and growth. By choosing admiration over jealousy, you reclaim your happiness and ignite the fire of continuous improvement. This is not just a lesson to hear but a practice to live by. A daily revolution of the mind that shapes the course of your life. To hold yourself to high standards is a profound act of self-respect and courage. But it demands more than mere willpower. It calls for a fierce love paired with unyielding discipline. The Buddha's wisdom here is not a call to harshness or self-judgment but a gentle, unwavering commitment to becoming your best self. This journey requires you to look inward with brutal honesty, acknowledging your weaknesses without shame and embracing your potential without arrogance. Being strict with yourself means setting clear boundaries, refusing to settle for excuses, and holding fast to principles that nourish growth. It is the fire that tempers your character, forging resilience and clarity in a world that constantly tests your resolve. Yet, this inner rigor must be balanced with deep tolerance toward others. We live in a world overflowing with imperfections. Others will falter, make mistakes, and sometimes act in ways that challenge your patience. The true test of your growth is how you respond to these human flaws. The Buddha teaches that by being tolerant with others, you protect your own peace and cultivate compassion. Understanding that everyone is on their own journey, struggling with their own battles, invites a kind of grace that dissolves resentment and frustration before they take root. This tolerance is not weakness or passivity. It is a conscious strength that chooses patience over judgment and empathy over anger. From personal experience, mastering this balance is one of the most difficult yet liberating challenges. When I first encountered this teaching, I was prone to frustration, both with myself and with others. I set the bar impossibly high and demanded perfection from those around me. But life, with all its unpredictable chaos, humbled me. I realized that harshness toward others only amplified inner turmoil, while softness toward myself allowed growth to flourish. Over time, I learned to apply discipline like a steady hand, firm but kind, guiding myself without cruelty. Simultaneously, I extended a generous patience to others, understanding that their mistakes are not attacks on my peace but invitations to practice forgiveness. This balance, being strict with yourself yet tolerant with others, is a powerful anchor that keeps your mind steady amid life's storms. When you hold yourself accountable with love, you avoid the slippery slope of complacency or self-pity. You become a guardian of your own standards, never allowing shortcuts to dull your purpose. At the same time, by embracing tolerance, you shield your heart from the toxic weight of resentment and bitterness. You create space for growth not only within yourself but also within your relationships, transforming potential conflicts into opportunities for understanding. But this principle demands vigilance. It is easy to tip the scale, to become rigid and unforgiving toward yourself, breeding anxiety and self-doubt, or conversely, to become indulgent toward others' faults, sacrificing your peace for endless frustration. The Buddha's wisdom is a call for equilibrium, a dance between firmness and compassion that must be practiced daily. It is not a static state but a dynamic flow, requiring awareness and adjustment as circumstances shift. There are moments when the world seems relentless, when others' mistakes pile up like a storm battering your resolve. In those times, remember that tolerance is a radical act of strength. It is not resignation but a choice to protect your inner calm and extend grace even when it is hardest. And in your moments of solitude, hold yourself to your highest standards with fierce love. This discipline is the soil from which your integrity and peace grow. I have seen how this teaching transforms lives. Those who embody it move through life with a quiet confidence that is unshaken by external chaos. They face their flaws without denial and embrace others with understanding, creating a harmony that radiates outward. This balance, stern with self, gentle with others, is the secret to a steady mind and a peaceful heart. It is a daily practice, a lifelong journey, and ultimately, the foundation of true freedom. No one can hurt you without your consent. This is not a mere cliché but a profound truth that demands the highest form of inner mastery. The moment you realize that pain, offense, and insult gain entry only through the gates you willingly open, your entire relationship with suffering shifts. It is a radical reclaiming of power that many overlook because it requires courage to face oneself honestly. The world will hurl storms, words sharpened like arrows, actions that wound deeply, but these external forces are powerless without your permission to affect your inner sanctuary. Like a mighty tree standing tall amid a raging tempest, bending with the winds yet refusing to snap, your resilience becomes your fortress. It is a dance of strength and flexibility, where surrender does not mean defeat but a conscious refusal to be broken. This principle is both liberating and demanding. Liberating because it hands you the key to your peace, a power no one else can seize. Demanding because it calls for unflinching self-awareness and discipline to govern your responses rather than letting impulses dictate them. In my own journey, this truth became a turning point. I remember moments when others' harsh words cut deeply, moments when it felt as if the world conspired to shake my foundation. Yet, it was in those moments that I realized the real battle was not outside but within. Whether to crumble or to stand firm. Choosing not to give consent to hurt does not mean ignoring pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It means acknowledging the pain without surrendering your peace to it. It is a fierce act of self-respect and clarity. The power lies in controlling your reactions, the space between stimulus and response where freedom is born. Many never grasp this space, reacting instantly, allowing hurt to fester and multiply. But the wise cultivate this gap, breathing into it, grounding themselves in awareness. In that moment, you become like the tree's roots, deep and unmoving, anchoring you through chaos. This is not about suppressing emotions but about mastering them, refusing to be a victim of external forces. Every time you reclaim your response, you strengthen your inner fortress, making it harder for pain to penetrate. Taking responsibility for your peace is the greatest power anyone can possess. It is an act of sovereignty that refuses to cede control to others' words, actions, or judgments. This sovereignty demands that you cultivate an unshakable center within, a core that no storm can uproot. Imagine how different life becomes when you realize that no insult, betrayal, or failure can diminish your worth unless you allow it. This mindset transforms suffering into a teacher, challenges into opportunities, and attacks into invitations for deeper strength. It is the ultimate form of freedom. Yet, this path is not without struggle. It requires relentless practice to notice when you have handed over your consent to hurt. Often unconsciously, it demands honesty to confront how you might be complicit in your own suffering through clinging to resentment or pain. But with each moment of awareness, each choice to withhold consent, you carve out a sanctuary of peace that no external force can breach. This sanctuary is your true home. The metaphor of the strong tree bending but not breaking is powerful because it embodies resilience without rigidity. Life will batter you, twist you, challenge your very core, but like that tree, you can sway with the winds and still remain standing. This is not about invulnerability. It is about mastering the art of endurance and grace under pressure. When you live by this principle, you embody a profound strength that others may not see but will undoubtedly feel. It radiates in calm confidence and quiet power. Ultimately, no one can hurt you without your consent because you are the gatekeeper of your own mind. Your reactions are the battleground where freedom is won or lost. When you accept this responsibility fully, you step into the highest form of power, one that cannot be taken away, diminished, or compromised by the outside world. It is a power born from self-mastery, rooted in unwavering peace, and crowned by the courage to stand firm no matter the storm. Acceptance holds a transformative power that many mistake for surrender but is, in truth, a profound act of courage and clarity. To accept reality as it is, without the heavy chains of judgment or the exhausting struggle of resistance, is to release yourself from a battle you cannot win. Imagine standing in a river's current, fighting against the relentless flow. Every muscle strains, every breath shortens, yet the river's power remains unchanged. Fighting the current drains your energy, frays your spirit, and leaves you weary. But what if instead of fighting, you let the current carry you? What if you moved with its rhythm, allowing the flow to guide your path? This is the essence of acceptance, a radical choice to embrace life's truths without denial or distortion. Acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation. It is not a passive surrender to fate or an excuse to avoid effort. On the contrary, it demands a sharp, clear awareness, a mind awake to reality, free from the distortions of wishful thinking or bitter complaint. This clarity allows you to see things as they truly are, stripping away illusions that fuel frustration and suffering. In my own experience, practicing acceptance has been like stepping out of a storm into calm. The moment I ceased to wrestle with what could not be changed, I found my energy freed, my mind quieted. It was not easy at first. Resistance is a natural reflex, deeply ingrained. Yet, with patience and persistence, acceptance became a refuge, a source of inner strength amid life's turbulence. Acceptance also invites wise action. When you stop fighting reality, you no longer waste precious energy on fruitless struggles. Instead, you channel your efforts into what is possible, into choices grounded in truth rather than illusion. This is where acceptance reveals its profound power. It does not dull your will but sharpens it. You conserve your strength to navigate challenges with wisdom and composure, rather than being swept away by frustration or denial. The river's current may be strong, but when you move with it, you become a skilled swimmer, adaptable and resilient. From a personal perspective, acceptance has been a lesson in humility and freedom. Humility because it requires admitting that not everything bends to your desires, that some things exist beyond control. Freedom because it liberates you from the exhausting trap of should and must. When you accept reality as it is, you no longer live in the prison of unmet expectations or imagined alternatives. Instead, you open yourself to the present moment fully, finding peace in what is rather than what should be. This shift is neither simple nor quick, it is a lifelong practice. A dance between awareness and action. There is a dramatic tension in acceptance, between resistance and surrender, between fighting and flowing, that defines much of human experience. But choosing acceptance does not mean giving up. It means choosing the path that preserves your strength and cultivates peace. It means meeting life's storms with the calm certainty of one who knows that resistance only prolongs suffering, while acceptance brings clarity and release. This is not escapism but mastery. The mastery of embracing life's realities with open eyes and an open heart. In moments when life feels overwhelming, when the currents seem too strong to bear, remember that acceptance is your ally. It invites you to let go of the futile struggle and find the current's rhythm within yourself. It promises a gentler way through hardship, a way that honors both reality and your inner peace. This power of acceptance is the quiet strength that carries you beyond resistance into freedom, transforming hardship into growth, chaos into calm, and suffering into wisdom. To live according to nature is to tune yourself into the ancient rhythms that have governed life long before the noise of modernity drowned them out. It is not simply a lifestyle choice but a profound alignment with the forces that sustain existence. Nature's cycles, day and night, seasons shifting, growth and decay, carry within them a wisdom that, when followed, restores balance to body, mind, and spirit. The relentless pace of modern life, with its endless distractions and artificial demands, tears us away from these natural flows, leaving us fragmented and stressed. Yet, when we slow down, observe, and honor the natural order, a deep peace emerges, grounding us in something far greater than ourselves. Simple living is the cornerstone of this harmony. It strips away excess, cutting through the clutter that clouds the mind and weighs down the soul. In my own journey, embracing simplicity meant more than decluttering physical possessions. It meant shedding mental burdens and false priorities imposed by society's relentless chase for more. When I aligned my daily rhythms with nature's flow, waking with the sun, eating what is seasonally available, moving with purpose but not haste, I found a balance that technology and convenience could never provide. This simplicity fosters a clarity that is both freeing and empowering, enabling you to respond to life with calm presence rather than reactive frenzy. Respect for the environment is inseparable from living according to nature. It is a recognition that we are not separate masters of the world but participants in a vast, interconnected web of life. This respect translates into mindful actions, consuming less, choosing sustainably, honoring the earth's limits, each small decision rippling outward with profound effects. There is a spiritual dimension here, too. A deep reverence for the earth as a living entity that nourishes and sustains us. When we cultivate this reverence, the boundary between self and environment softens, and we experience a profound sense of belonging. This connection dissolves the alienation that modern life so often breeds, replacing it with belonging and purpose. Modern stress, fueled by disconnection and excess, is the silent epidemic of our time. Anxiety, burnout, and restlessness stem from living out of sync with nature's gentle rhythms. When your life moves against these natural currents, You become a boat battling turbulent waves rather than sailing smoothly. This conflict drains your energy and clouds your mind. But by returning to nature's cycles, you tap into an ancient source of resilience. There is a quiet power in watching the seasons change, feeling the earth beneath your feet, and recognizing your own small but vital place in the grand design. From a personal perspective, living according to nature has been a radical reclaiming of sanity and well-being. It has taught me to embrace impermanence, to accept that life flows in cycles of growth and decline. Light and dark, this acceptance eases resistance and suffering, allowing me to move with life rather than against it. The discipline to live simply and mindfully is not always easy. Society tempts us with constant distractions and false promises, but the rewards are undeniable. Greater health, clearer mind, and a heart open to the beauty and mystery of existence. There is a dramatic tension between the artificial world we have built and the natural world we belong to. Yet, choosing to live according to nature is a courageous act of resistance and reconciliation. It is resistance against the forces that seek to fragment us and reconciliation with the timeless flows that sustain us. This choice anchors you in reality and nourishes your soul. It calls you to slow down, to listen, and to honor the cycles that have always been there, waiting for you to return. Living according to nature is more than survival. It is a path to thriving. It invites you into a dance with the earth, a relationship of respect and reciprocity that enriches both your life and the world around you. This harmony brings balance to your body, peace to your mind, and depth to your spirit. In a world that constantly pulls you away from yourself, it is the compass that guides you home. Living ethically is not merely a set of rules imposed from the outside. It is the very foundation upon which true peace is built. To live with honesty, kindness, and respect is to cultivate a sanctuary within yourself where chaos cannot easily penetrate. Ethics shape the fabric of our existence. They are the invisible threads weaving harmony between ourselves, others, and the world around us. When you commit to ethical living, you create a ripple effect of goodness that transcends individual moments and shapes your destiny. In my own life, this commitment has been both a compass and a shield, guiding me through turbulent times and protecting my spirit from the corrosive effects of negativity. Honesty forms the cornerstone of ethical living. It demands courage to face yourself and others with truth, stripping away the masks and illusions that breed confusion and distrust. In moments of temptation or fear, choosing honesty can feel like walking a razor's edge, yet it is in this tension that integrity is forged. I have found that embracing honesty, even when it feels uncomfortable, frees you from the burden of deceit and invites authentic connection. It is the foundation on which trust is built, and trust is the soil in which peace and happiness grow. Kindness is the living expression of ethical values in action. It requires empathy and compassion to see beyond yourself and recognize the shared humanity in others. Kindness does not demand grand gestures. Often, it is found in small, consistent acts. Listening deeply, offering a smile, standing up for what is right. In practicing kindness, I have witnessed how it softens hearts, breaks cycles of anger, and opens pathways for healing. It transforms relationships and builds bridges where walls once stood. Kindness is a force more powerful than anger or hate because it disarms hostility without fighting it, creating space for understanding and peace. Respect completes this triad of ethical living. Respect for others, for the environment, and for yourself is a recognition of intrinsic value and dignity. It requires humility to acknowledge that every being deserves kindness and fairness. Regardless of differences, through respect, boundaries are honored, conflicts de-escalate, and cooperation flourishes. I have learned that when respect guides your actions, you move through the world with grace and integrity, earning not only the trust of others but also your own self-respect. This internal harmony strengthens your resilience against negativity and fosters a lasting sense of calm. Living ethically also shapes your karma, the sum of your actions and their consequences. Good actions sow seeds of positivity, creating protective shields against the harmful effects of negativity and misfortune. This principle is not about rigid moralism but about understanding the natural law of cause and effect that governs life. Every choice matters. Every intention ripples outward. I have come to appreciate that ethical living is a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace because it aligns your actions with your deepest values, reducing internal conflict and doubt. Yet, ethical living is not without challenges. The world often tempts us with shortcuts, selfish desires, or justifications to stray from our principles. There are moments when living honestly and kindly demands strength against the currents of convenience and pressure. But it is precisely in these moments that the power of ethics shines brightest. Choosing the difficult path becomes an act of courage that fortifies your spirit and deepens your peace. This journey is deeply personal and transformative. It asks you to examine your intentions, confront your shadows, and commit daily to actions that uplift rather than diminish. But the rewards are profound. Ethical living brings clarity to your mind, harmony to your relationships, and a quiet joy that cannot be shaken by external chaos. It creates a foundation so solid that even in storms, you remain grounded. In the end, focusing on ethical living is the ultimate act of self-care and service. It honors your true nature and connects you with a larger purpose beyond self-interest. It is the path that leads to trust, happiness, and the unshakable calm that everyone seeks. By living ethically, you not only protect yourself from negativity but also become a beacon of light in a world yearning for kindness and truth. Gratitude is a subtle yet powerful force that reshapes the entire landscape of your experience. When you practice gratitude, you redirect your attention from scarcity and lack to abundance and presence. Instead of dwelling on what is missing or wrong, you begin to notice the countless gifts woven into each moment: the warmth of the sun on your skin, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the simple beauty of a sunrise breaking the night. This shift is not merely optimistic thinking. It is a transformative perspective that rewires your mind to find joy amid chaos and resilience amid hardship. In my personal journey, embracing gratitude has been nothing short of revolutionary. It has transformed bleak days into sources of wonder and anchored my spirit when storms of doubt and despair threatened to overwhelm me. Gratitude cultivates a profound awareness of the present moment, grounding you in what truly matters. It challenges the restless habit of chasing endless desires or comparing your life to others' curated successes. I have found that by pausing to appreciate even the smallest blessings, a shared laugh, a breath of fresh air, a moment of stillness, my mind settles, and a wellspring of contentment emerges. This contentment is not passive complacency but a vibrant acceptance that fuels motivation rather than drains it. Gratitude creates a fertile soil where happiness can take root, not dependent on external circumstances but nourished by an internal well-being that grows stronger with each thankful thought. Moreover, gratitude builds resilience by rewiring your response to adversity. When hardship strikes, it is tempting to succumb to bitterness or despair. Yet, the practice of gratitude invites you to find slivers of light even in dark times. I remember facing moments of deep challenge when focusing on what remained good in my life: supportive friends, lessons learned, moments of peace, provided the strength to endure and grow. Gratitude does not erase pain or difficulty, but it shifts your perception, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth, and gratitude itself becomes a shield against the corrosive effects of negativity and despair. The ripple effect of gratitude extends beyond your internal world into your relationships. Expressing appreciation strengthens bonds, fosters empathy, and creates a positive feedback loop of kindness and connection. I have seen how a simple thank you or a heartfelt acknowledgement can dissolve tension, open hearts, and deepen trust. Gratitude transforms social interactions from transactional exchanges into meaningful connections that sustain and uplift. It nurtures a community where generosity and understanding flourish, making life richer and more joyful. Yet, gratitude is not always easy, especially in a culture that often glorifies want and achievement over presence and contentment. It requires intentionality, a daily commitment to look beyond complaints and distractions to recognize the hidden treasures in your life. This practice demands humility, an acknowledgement that no matter your circumstances, there is always something to be grateful for. It challenges the entitlement and impatience that can cloud modern living and replaces them with a patient, open heart. From my perspective, gratitude is a radical act of defiance against the cynicism and dissatisfaction that pervade much of contemporary life. It is a declaration that you refuse to be defined by lack or loss but choose instead to celebrate the fullness of life's simple joys. Practicing gratitude invites you into a dance with existence that is both humble and triumphant. A dance where every moment holds the potential for wonder and every breath becomes a prayer of thanks. Ultimately, gratitude transforms not just how you feel but how you live. It infuses each day with meaning, resilience, and joy. It anchors you in connection, to yourself, to others, and to the world. This shift is not fleeting but lasting, building a foundation of peace and happiness that no external circumstance can undo. Through gratitude, you discover that the heart's capacity to appreciate is infinite, and in that infinite appreciation lies the secret to a life well lived. Trusting the process and letting go of control is a challenge that strikes at the core of human nature. For we are wired to seek certainty, to grasp tightly at what we think we need to secure. Yet, this very grasping, this desperate clutching for control, becomes the root of much suffering. I have personally wrestled with the illusion that if I just planned perfectly, anticipated every twist, and held every outcome tightly, I could shape life exactly as I desired. But time and again, life proved otherwise. The tighter I held on, the more I invited frustration, anxiety, and disappointment. The moment I began to surrender, truly release my grip, I discovered a paradoxical freedom. A peace that could not be found in control but only in trust. Letting go does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It is an active choice to recognize what lies beyond your power and to embrace uncertainty with open arms. I've learned that when you cling to specific outcomes, you build walls around your experience, blocking the natural flow of life's possibilities. The more rigid your expectations, the more fragile your peace becomes. By contrast, trusting the process means engaging fully with the present moment, taking deliberate actions, but without the suffocating need to dictate every result. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it, knowing you cannot force it to grow overnight or control the weather that influences its path. You do your part and then allow life's rhythms to unfold. This surrender is neither easy nor immediate. It requires courage to face the unknown, to tolerate discomfort without scrambling to fix or escape. In my own life, I faced moments of intense fear and doubt when the path ahead seemed uncertain or veiled in darkness. But each time I leaned into trust rather than resistance, I found unexpected strength and clarity. The storms remained, but my heart no longer battered against them. It flowed with them, riding the waves instead of being swallowed by them. This experience taught me that peace is not the absence of challenge but the mastery of response. Releasing control also opens you to new opportunities that rigid expectations might have blocked. Life's beauty often lies in its unpredictability, in the spontaneous moments and surprising turns that cannot be scripted. When you surrender control, you become receptive to these gifts. I recall times when I clung tightly to a plan, only to find that letting go revealed a better path I hadn't imagined. This openness requires humility, acknowledging that your mind's vision is limited and that life's intelligence operates on a grander scale. Trust invites you to participate in a dance where you lead with intention but follow with surrender, embracing both effort and grace. The suffering caused by clinging to control is subtle but profound. It manifests as anxiety, frustration, and the constant tension of should be versus is. This tension fractures your connection to the present, stealing joy and fostering discontent. Trusting the process dissolves this tension, grounding you in acceptance and fluidity. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of trying to predict and perfect everything, allowing you to live fully in the moment with all its imperfections and mysteries. From my perspective, learning to trust life's flow is a lifelong practice, one that demands patience, self-compassion, and constant mindfulness. It is a journey of peeling away the layers of fear that compel control and embracing the vulnerability of surrender. But within this vulnerability lies an extraordinary power, the power to be fully alive, to welcome whatever comes without resistance, and to find peace not in outcomes but in the unfolding itself. Ultimately, trusting the process and letting go of control is an invitation to live with open hands and an open heart. It calls you to participate in life's unfolding with courage and curiosity, to dance with uncertainty rather than fight it. In this dance, you discover a freedom that no amount of control can offer, a freedom anchored in peace, possibility, and presence. By practicing these 10 principles, you don't just learn a philosophy, you forge an unbreakable fortress within your mind. A sanctuary where no storm can breach your calm. Life will continue to hurl challenges your way, unexpected losses, harsh words, overwhelming pressure. But when your foundation is built on honesty, acceptance, gratitude, and trust, you stand firm, unshaken and serene. I speak from personal experience when I say this path is not easy. It demands relentless patience, courage, and self-reflection. There will be moments of doubt when old habits claw at your resolve, when the temptation to fall back into chaos feels strongest. But it is precisely in those moments that your commitment to these principles reveals its power. It is then you realize that true freedom is not the absence of difficulty but the mastery of your response to it. Walking this path means embracing imperfection, your own and the world's, with compassion rather than judgment. It means recognizing that peace is not a distant destination but a companion you carry with you. Steady and unmovable, no matter what comes. This journey is a lifelong dance between struggle and surrender, strength and softness, discipline and grace. It invites you to move through life with eyes wide open, not expecting calm every moment but knowing that your inner peace remains untouched even amid the wildest storms. From my own life, I've witnessed how embracing these principles transforms despair into hope, anger into understanding, and fear into courage. It is not magic, it is hard work, daily practice that slowly rewires the mind and heart. Yet the reward is priceless, a sense of freedom that no external circumstance can steal. A joy that springs from within, rooted deeply in self-awareness and acceptance. This is the power you unlock when you commit to living with integrity, kindness, gratitude, and trust. If this message resonates with you, I encourage you to share it with others who seek peace amid chaos. Like this video to support content that uplifts and inspires, and comment below to share your own journey or questions about these principles. Your story might be the light someone else needs in their darkest moment. Together, we can build a community grounded in wisdom and compassion, a network of minds unshaken by life's storms. Remember, this is not a path of perfection but of progress. Each step you take in practicing these principles brings you closer to a life of true freedom and peace. Let patience be your guide, and trust your steady companion. Walk boldly forward knowing that no matter what life throws your way, your inner sanctuary remains unshakable. This is your power, this is your peace, and it is waiting for you to claim it. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your path be filled with light, resilience, and unwavering calm.